So, do you ever have those days where like everything just works out perfectly? Like everything is great. It's beautiful. There are no hiccups. There are no disasters. It's just a smooth sailing day. And you wish that you had some way to capture it as proof of how smooth sailing and wonderful the day was. Now, today was one of those days for me, with the exception of this soap. And this is how I ended my day and didn't film the rest of my beautiful day. I filmed this and you get to see this, but I guess that's just part of what we do. So I'm going to tell you all about this in just a minute, but before I do, hello, I'm Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff. How's it going, Sudsers? Welcome back to the channel. You are here for another round of 365 days of soap, and today is day 150, and we are making the September Birthstone soap, the Sapphire. And on its head, like that sounds perfect, right? Because sapphires are beautiful, and what could go wrong? A lot went wrong, really, and it all started with using a scent that I have never used before. I looked at the soaping notes. Soaping notes said that it was going to be great for cold processed soap, none problems whatsoever. And they lied so much. So let's go check out this pour. I will tell you more about the Sapphire, birthstone soap in the video, and then you can see whether or not it ended in disaster. Okay, the Sapphire September Birthstone. I'm so excited for this one because I love the color of sapphires. They're so beautiful. Isn't that just all the just? Like that blue is so delightful. I love everything about it. And it's really cool. Look at that. I did kind of multiple colors with the sapphires for this guy, just for funsies. But I actually found out while I was researching the sapphire, that sapphires can come in all different types of colors, and keep that in mind for later because that actually plays a part in the pour. Now for the oil blend with this, it's a 60-40 split of solid to liquid oils. The solid oils are shea, babassu, and coconut, and the liquid oils are olive oil and avocado oil. And I did this because I really, you're not quite there, you're almost there, you're so close. Now, I actually wanted to get this to at least a medium trace because of the pour that I'm doing today. So I continued to work with the batter until we get to a good consistency for that. Because we are working with a couple different layers with all of this. And so I do want the batter to be, thicker, faster. And that's great. And, a great idea and all that jazz, for sure. Here's the thing though, you saw the kaolin clay there in the upper left-hand beaker. That has been dispersed in the scent blend. And this blend, it's actually not my blend, it is a brand new blend called Sugared Mint that I have never worked with before. Never, ever, ever worked with before, not one time ever. Smells amazing though, and honestly it reminds me of my grandpa, but not like in an old man kind of way, but in the whole like, he used to chew this like Freedent gum and then also really liked peppermint candies, and so he always smelled of those two things, right? And so I you know, it reminded me of my grandpa. My grandpa's birthday is in September, so I thought this was a perfect blend to put in the September Birthstone. And you know, the scent itself, it's phenomenal. It's such a good scent. But again, I had never worked with this scent before. So you're gonna see why that can sometimes be a problem right now. Look how immediately thick it started getting as soon as I put the scent in and just mixed it a little bit. And not only did it get thick, do you see that? That, my friends, is ricing. So my soap batter is ricing, which means I have to be very careful through the rest of this pour to make sure that, well, we can get it in the molds quickly now and not have any more problems than we currently already do. But yeah, that scent, it got it to ricing like immediately. So at this point, I had decided that I was going to change up the pour just a little bit. Now, originally what I'd wanted to do was a nice like mini teardrop with this, but so that was why, you know, I got it to the medium trace, because that would work really well for a like mini teardrop pour. But when I put the scent, and it did this, and it's very grainy and not fun, and that's ricing. That's not great. And so I decided to switch it up right now, because I'm working with essentially 3 different problems. A, clay soaps, they thicken up as soon as you put the clay in. It's just the nature of the beast. 2, this is a 60-40 solid to liquid, you know, oil blend, because I want the luxuriousness from the shea and, you know, all the, and I also wanted it to be a little bit thicker, faster. But since I, you know, am working with a scent that went really thick, really fast. See, that's still fine. That's great. The scent isn't in that guy yet, and that's still completely workable. And that's the consistency that I was going for with the entire pour. But because that wasn't going to work out with the scent, I decided for the 4 colors that I'm putting in to not scent them at all and just dump the rest of the scent blend into the remaining white after I measure out just 4 little bits of soap. We're looking at like maybe an ounce or 2, not a lot, into each of these, and they will have then 4 different colors that will be in the middle, and we'll take a hanger to them and do like a pretty kind of swirl feather type thing in there. Now, the reason why I'm going with 4 different colors in addition to the sapphire is because I found out that sapphires actually come in a whole bunch of colors, so pinks and oranges and yellows and greens and blue. The blue is going to be the rarest and the most traditional, so that's the one that's the most sought after. So of course that got represented, but I thought that was really fun that it exists in lots of different colors, much like pearls and whatnot, and so I wanted to play with the other colors that it could have been. So that was my reasoning behind putting the extra colors in. And again, with these, I am not going to be putting any of the scent into these guys at all, because again, it's firming up really well. The whole plan with this was to put it all in a squeeze bottle and do the mini teardrop, and this would be the right consistency for my soaps to do that, and it would have been great. But I know that as soon as I put the rest of that scent blend, that sugared mint, into the soap batter in, you know, in the white portion, it's going to thicken it up so much that no real teardrop is going to really come through. It will be kind of like the rainbows and raindrops soap that we did early in the summer, one of the Soap and Clay Kidlets designs. It will be kind of like that. It will be, but that was in, you know, kind of intentional with thickening up that much, and I ended up with sort of streaks of color like paint stripes and less little raindrops. And so I'm not even going to try to get raindrops into this. And so again, I'm just going to mix it up on the fly and change the design, which is great. And you know, that's something that happens in the soaping world, really. And honestly, I don't even know why I'm telling you, because you don't need to know. And that's, you know, that's the thing. You don't need to tell people that this was not the ultimate goal for your soaps. Like, if it still works, awesome. And that's, you know, yay, do the thing. But the thing with this is I'm not 100% sure that it's going to work. I put the soap batter in, and I'm going to, or the scent in, and I'm going to pour this as quickly as I possibly can. And like, so far so good, getting it in there. But as I pour, do you see in the container itself how it's starting to rise? I mean, that's how fast it does it with this the scent. So that's unfortunate, but that's okay. Again, we are just going to kind of randomly spoon all of the other colors, which again, this would have been so good in the squeeze bottles. I got the squeeze bottles out for this. I was prepped for squeeze bottle soaping today. And I mean, I guess luckily I don't have to clean squeeze bottles now, so that all works out. And that's, you know, good. But again, changing the design on the fly, this is something that you don't have to tell people, but also I don't really know that this is going to work. So I'm gonna tell you that, you know, this happens. So in case it doesn't work and it looks completely terrible, well, that's why my soap rised. Now, I do want you to pay attention to, you know, back to the soap rising bit, the blue and how craggy and like little rice granules that it looked like when it was in the, when we put it into the mold. I do want you to pay attention to that, as well as, you know, the end of the white, because that's doing its thing in the pot up there as well. And see if you can tell that the soap batter was weird once we cut it. Because I have never, yeah, look at that. Look how thick. And just, yeah, there's definite ricing going on with that too. It's unfortunate, but I have never had a soap that, you know, has looked like this with the ricing or whatever in the finished product after saponification has been completed. I have never had a soap show any signs of it having any problems. So, you know, take that for what it is, and make sure to pay attention in the cut to see if you can tell that the soap rised. Now, I am going to take the hanger to this, just sort of in the middle all the way down, and then a couple swoops, one to the left, one to the right, and, you know, alternating that kind of right in the middle of the bar where the color is, and then all the way around again, just to create some cool, you know, swirls within the four colors. Because remember, I didn't put them all on top of each other, I put them all next to each other. So I kind of needed to work the batter a little bit more to make sure that all of the colors would kind of be pulled into, you know, the rest of them. And for the top here, you know, we're just going to be putting in the gems like we do with the rest of the soaps. And the last soap we did, the August soap, I actually put some gemstones inside the actual soap batter, which I really quite loved. But for this, I wanted just kind of a variation on sapphires, on sapphire blues on the top. And as I was putting these in, I noticed that they're a little bit too like blue jean blue for this. And so I decided that in order for it to kind of look right with the rest of the sapphires that are there, that the best thing to do at this point would be to spritz the tops of the soap of the little sapphires with some gold mica to give them some extra shimmer and hopefully make them not stand out as much from the rest of the sapphires that we are putting on the top. Now, I can totally do this at this stage because the rest of that white soap batter is going to get covered up, so that's good. If I tried to do it after I'd laid all the sapphires, obviously those would have had all kinds of gold on them too, and then I wonder if it would have, you know, given me the effect that I wanted, really. So these guys are, oh gosh, they're so pretty. I'm sorry, I had to stop for a minute. They're so pretty. I really love sapphires. They are such a nice stone. But yeah, anyway, so this is going to be put in the oven on very, very low. So I'm actually going to heat the oven and then turn it off. And then an hour after it gets turned off, I'm going to put it in to the oven for not really a CPOP. It's just going to keep the soap essentially at heat during saponification, because, and I will probably end up with a softer soap tomorrow as a result, but I don't want the gems on top to melt. So I'm going to not fully CPOP them. It's not going to be put in the oven and super duper heated up. So it's just a quasi heat. And really that probably does nothing, but it makes me feel like I've actually finished my job to put them away in the oven. So yeah, Now this is ready to, go through the spawnification thing, and it's so pretty. And we will cut it tomorrow and see what we have going on inside. Okay, and it is cut day, and that all looks really beautiful. I even like the little, dew that we have going on the top of a couple of the, on one side of all the sapphires, really. It's super beautiful. And let's see what the cut looks like. And it's very soft. And again, it's soft, I think, because I did not pop it. Typically, my soaps harden up reasonably well. They're still soft enough to be repaired the next day, but firm enough that they're not super squishy like this. And this is super squishy, but that is super beautiful. I love that. It's ultimately 100% fine that I didn't get the mini teardrops into this guy. And honestly, maybe it makes more sense to have the teardrops in, well, I mean, I guess for me, October, because the Pacific Northwest, lots of rain in October, but maybe other places in the country sometime in the spring to have like raindrops in the soap. But this one here actually is beautiful, and I think it probably fits September better than, because it does sort of remind me of like falling leaves and the changing of the seasons and all that jazz, in addition to representing all of the different colors that, a sapphire could be, really. And that's cool. The scent blend, that sugared mint, it's extraordinary. It's so strong. It's so good. And before you start wondering, oh, is it so strong because you used too much? No, I didn't. I'm not Bush League. I used the appropriate amount, and it's still accelerated, which is a bummer. But actually, this particular company that I got it from, they're a new company. And so I messaged them and I let them know that that's what happened in cold process. And they told me that they were reformulating their blends to be better suited for cold process soap makers. And so that's exciting. So, you can do the thing, and I will definitely be picking this one up again once that has been done, because it's a delightful blend. I mean, I guess too that I would pick it up anyway because it's a delightful blend, and this bar is beautiful. So knowing that it will rise, I won't be caught unawares and kind of panicked during the soaping, and so it'll be fine. I'll just know what to look for. And yeah, these are so pretty. I really love that design. It's delightful. That ultimately ended up looking way better than my initial plan with this, and I think my initial plan would have been cute, but there's cute and then there's sort of like perfect, right, for the September Birthstone. And I think we are at perfect for the September Birthstone with this design. I think it worked out really well, and I just love everything about that bar. But also, can you tell that it rised? You can't tell. The only little white bits in there from the kaolin clay down at the bottom, and nothing else looks weird and craggy. It all works out. So let that be a lesson. If your soap rises, that doesn't mean it's ruined. And there is a day 150, the September Birthstone, the Sapphire, and she's a babe.
Yeah, not a disastrous ending, but like the little middle bit where I actually had to pour the soap, that was crazy. I was so frustrated throughout the entire process. Also, one of my gloves had actually popped a hole in the fingertip, and there was like soap batter inside my glove, and my finger was burning like you would not believe. And it ended up being like a 25-minute pour for just this little teeny tiny batch of soap, which was crazy. And I couldn't leave it because it was accelerating and it was racing and it was crazy. Anyway, that wasn't fun for me, but the cut was a lot of fun for me. And ultimately, I don't know where I stand with this. I love the scent blend so much. The reason I selected this, again, was because it reminded me of my grandpa, and not in like an old man kind of way, in the whole, these are the things that he had that he would smell of kind of way. Like he always chewed Friedent gum, and he always had little peppermints and like butterscotch candies around, and this sugared mint blend really captured that. And his birthday is in September, and so it all really worked out well for me. I thought it was kind of perfect. And for that reason, I think I might use it again. I am hoping that the formulation actually gets tweaked so we can use it again without having the ricing and crazy disaster. But ultimately, you didn't see it in the finished product. You didn't see any ricing, any signs of this soap being a bad pour. So I guess it works out, but it was not the most fun way to end an otherwise perfect day. The soaps, though, are perfect. So that was the beginning of, the cut day, and that all worked out. If you are interested in the Sapphire soaps, you can totally find them on the website at soapandclay.com. If you are interested in following me on social media, I'm there, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And if you are interested in more soapy stuff, subscribe to the channel, do the thing, click the button, and come join us in the Sudzer family. We'd sure love to have you. For those that are in the Sudzer family, thank you for being here. I really do appreciate you. And that does it for me today. So I will see you all again tomorrow. Bye.